Welcome in to another episode of the WestsLife Podcast. I am your host, Josh Barnett, and we are brought to you by Holman Barnes Group, which includes West Ashfield Leagues. The best place to watch the games live and loud, not only this weekend, but on the Matildas on Wednesday night. We'll promote that in a few specials for that. And then the Tigers boys are playing the who are we playing again? The Dolphins. Dolphins. Bloody hell. The girls are playing the Dragons. So they're both, we'll preview those games on Wednesday. But yeah, check them out at West Ashfield Leagues. Have a feed and a pizza and a beer as well. At WestsLife Pod, please give us a follow on Instagram and Twitter. Instagram, we're almost pushing towards the 1,000 mark. So let's try and get it to. It just looks good. No, for no other reason other than it just looks pretty cool if you got 1,000 followers on that. But and Twitter as well, and the little link in the Instagram and Twitter profile pages, if you're on there, that will open up and give you a menu to find everything that we do, including all our episodes on audio or our YouTube channel. Shouts to everyone tuning in on the YouTube. Again, watching us live tonight. We love you all. And patreon.com/WestsLife if you want to support and take part in the show as well. Hello, Mr. Thompson. You've had a pretty big weekend. You missed possibly the biggest moment in Australian sporting history for at least a couple of decades, possibly. But how much can you tell us of why you were in a secret lockdown on Saturday night and missed the West Tigers game, unfortunately, as well?
Yeah, g'day, Josh. G'day, listeners. To quote The Simpsons, Josh, the biggest moment in sporting history so far, or Australian sporting history so far.
True. Till the West Tigers win another comp.
I didn't sign anything that said I can't talk about it, so
do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm going to be on TV at some point, probably early next year, whenever the new season of the TV game show I was involved in filming airs. It's quite interesting, actually. I went there as a standby contestant and ended up being able to be a contestant on the show. So,
surely let us say what the show is. You promote it. You got to.
I don't know. Maybe should I say the name of the show?
What are they going to do? They can't edit you out.
Well, they didn't really talk to me anyway, so not like there's much to edit out. But yeah. I'm going to be on an episode of the 1% Club
with one of my favorite comedians, Jim Jeffries. You got to see him, kind of up close, I guess. So that's pretty cool. I've seen him live
pretty
a
close,
few times. Yeah. Jason D said Sal Century. Yeah, how was Glenn Ridge and Nicky Buckley? You probably do you remember Glenn Ridge, Nicky Buckley, Sal Century?
No. It's early my time, so I
don't slightly too young for that.
I know the name of the show, like I recognize the name of the show. Yeah. It was one of those shows Mum said to me I used to watch a lot of as a kid, even though I had no idea what it was about or understanding any of it. But yeah, Jim was in pretty good form. He was pretty tired. It was the second filming of the day. Yeah, there were a lot of good jokes. There were a few cringy ones, so it should be good when that episode goes to air.
If they let him go to air, I guess. But yeah, how good you got a TV experience? So you're.
I did my first time on TV, or first time in a show that's going to be on TV.
In the background of a TV show. How good! That's awesome. Happy for you, man. You're keeping us updated on our group chat and everything on Saturday night. That was really exciting. So, one thing that wasn't exciting it was exciting somewhat, but I would call it frustrating. The West Tigers lost to the New Zealand Warriors on Saturday night. Look, I know we're biased with ref blaming and officials. Basically blaming officials for losses. But this one, as you were rewatching the game today and kind of live messaging Rob and I as you're watching it, and I could only laugh as you were blowing up like every few minutes about some of the calls that were made against us. So we'll get into those and Graham Annesley's comments today. He didn't really talk that much about anything. We lost Az. Wait for Az to pop back in. But he will start with Sheensy's comments on the game afterwards. He is Sheensy talking about the same little bit of a review.
Up and down for a sense. Closer to our best side out there tonight, which helps. You know, the two halves have finally formed a combination with Dane and Brooksy. And all year it's been different combinations. App's been out at times with obviously state of origin and also injury. And young Jareem's come in after about round 8, I think. So we're finally putting a club together and a team together that'll stand up, I believe, next year big time. Yeah. It's been up and down for a sense. Closer to.
So there's Sheensy there. Az is just trying to get back connected. He's having some technical difficulties. So while he's doing that, I'll address someone in the comments. Jason, he's saying that Sailor Century was Tony Barber. I know it was Tony Barber. Tony Barber was a bit before my time, man. It was Glenn Ridge for me, who came after Tony Barber. So, I do not remember Tony Barber hosting, but I did know that. Okay, still waiting on Az. Let's go to another sheet. Let's talk about Sheensy. Talking about the bumper there. We got Az. There he is.
There we go.
My camera's not working, so I just you can't see my face. It's all happening tonight. Maybe the NRL's trying to stop us from going ham on them tonight.
Mine switched itself off, and I went to turn it back on, and it completely disconnected me from the room. I think StreamYard is having a few issues.
Yeah, we'll blame them. Let's blame them. It's not us at all. Right, here's Sheensy talking about Steph.
He better not have after what happened with Appy. The kid didn't get hit in the head at all. He's gone. He's had some problems with his breathing. It hit him lower here. Was not in the head itself, but that I can't see. All of a sudden, it's a penalty. It hasn't been a penalty. 1 minute later, there was another shot. Fanua Blake got one of our kids with the ball, not carrying the ball, nothing, and then there was another one, and then we finally got a penalty. But there's a league change that's ruling on it. Appy, there was no penalty, no suspension. When it happened to him, well, why is this a problem? Right.
So like I said, you watched the game today. What were your thoughts on this bumper bar from Steph, which got penalised? And Appy, funny enough, said, "What about my jaw?" Not long after it.
Yeah, I don't blame Appy for that, because when it happened to him against the Gold Coast Titans and it was Tino doing it to him, there was no penalty, no nothing, and all of a sudden Stefano gets penalised for it. Not even 2 minutes later, one of their players does it to Isaiah Papali'i, and nothing is made of it. Like, there's no penalty for it whatsoever, because the thing with Ice is he didn't react, and I think that's what happened there. I don't like that it's a part of the game. I mean, I guess that players are going to kind of, brace themselves for impact. But you do have to try and keep it away from the head or the neck, because as we saw in the first women's state of origin game this year, the results of being contacted in the neck can be quite bad, quite dangerous. And I hope Wade Egan, I think it was, I hope he's doing well in hospital at the moment.
Apparently he's been released from hospital.
All right, cool. That's good.
Here's what Graham Annesley. So Graham Annesley, the only thing he addressed from this game today was this whole bumper incident. So here's what he said in his round 24 press conference.
Important point here from the match review committee is that ball, as it's being carried, is again, and we went through this a few weeks ago where we talked about for a bumper to be legitimate, that the ball can't really leave the position that it's being carried in. So he's carrying it up against his shoulder in this point. Now, it comes up, there's no question, but the ball stays on the chest. But what the referee sees and what the bunker's looking at is the arm comes up and there's contact with the neck, not the head, but under the chin, the neck. And remember that head and neck contact in our game is against the rules, and there are levels of breaches of the rules, levels where the referee takes action on the field, levels where there's action taken by the match review committee off the field. But in terms of the contact with the neck here, whilst it's not a charge by the match review committee, I have no problem with the referee acting on this and placing it on report for further examination. We see, and again, there's no one suggesting that this is done deliberately, or the contact with the neck, but we're doing everything we can to try and prevent contact with the head and neck in our game. And the match officials are under instructions to deal with contact with the head and neck. And in this particular case, I have no criticism of them penalising this and putting it on report. Again, another incident over the weekend where referees were criticised.
Yeah, you're goddamn right. We fucking criticised it, Graham, because we literally had our captain break his jaw, and that from this, I would argue, a worse one from Tino, but it just happened to be before State of Origin, so Tino didn't get penalised. Would have sufficed a penalty, just a penalty for Appy having his jaw broken, and nothing came out of that. Not a single thing happened to Tino. But Stefano gets penalised for it. Like, as I said, Appy literally said, "What about my jaw?" And it was also, I only just realised watching it back today, it was zero tackle. We actually got a set restart as Steph does it. So rather than us starting the set on zero, basically at the halfway line, the Warriors got a kick for touch and went down the other way. It was a huge momentum changing call. Just absolute joke.
Really
and it's just ironic that Annesley saying that any contact with the head and neck is a penalty, then what the fuck was on Sean Blore when they were reviewing his knock-on, his supposed knock-on, when he clearly, A, he knocks it back, but B, he clearly gets hit in the face, and Annesley just said, well, any contact with the face or neck is a penalty. Well, Sean Blore he definitely got touched in the face, an arm to the face, rewatch the footage, and he still calls a knock on Sean Blore. Like, it wasn't like the referee calling that. The bunker had a good look at it. The commentators on Fox said he's clearly been hit high. And that's a thing too. The commentators, like, it's not just West Tigers fans who think we were dudded over the weekend. The commentators themselves were basically backing up how we were feeling about it. So, and Warren Smith, despite being a former West Tigers fan, is usually a little bit anti-West Tigers lately, but I just can't believe the hypocrisy. It's just absolute bullshit.
I will add as well, Josh. I can't remember which Warriors player it was, but in the second half, he does the same thing, but with the non-ball carrying arm, and he cops one of our players in the neck with the non-ball carrying arm, which I think is an even worse thing to do. Yeah. And there was no one batted an eye over it. Like, no referee, no bunker coming back to it to say, like, go back, put that on report, nothing.
Yep. While we're on it, I'm going to go through what I'm going to actually do. I'm actually going to, because you did a nice little job there today while you're live messaging, just so I don't forget. I see Brennan in the chat there's mentioned the Luke Brook pass. So that was called a forward pass. So, yeah, apparently I've heard that the pass, they didn't say it in the presser, but apparently they think it actually was the wrong call. It wasn't a forward pass, which is ironic considering last week we had a fucking Jack Whiten, the Raiders quarterback, throw the ball 2 meters forward, which led to a try.
Yep.
What were the other ones as well? So Luke Brooks' head high tackle. So obviously contact to the head. Luke Brooks gets him around the shoulder, and that was a huge momentum changer as well. That we defended our line for a couple of sets in a row, and as Brooksy makes that tackle, we pounce on the ball and basically save the try and get possession. They end up kicking a penalty goal and getting more possession down the other end of the field to make it. They make it a 6-point lead. So we could have challenged that because it was before the Bloor incident that we challenged, I believe. But even still, like to call that a head hot, like to penalise Luke Brooks on that, just absolute joke. What
and
other
then
ones
the other
am I
thing
missing?
that they've really got to, and the other thing they've really got to get out of the game is players like Adam Fanua-Blake being tackled or held up in the in-goal by Alex Seyfarth. He then, before he gets up, he puts his whole entire forearm and potentially a fair bit of his weight on Seyfarth's neck. Like Seyfarth is in a vulnerable position on the ground, probably can't really breathe all that well with this big hunk of forearm across his windpipe, and nothing's done about that either. Like that's just fucking dirty, in my opinion.
Jason mentioned they knocked it on. Then it was a penalty for offside. Dylan mentioning there was a scrum buzzer. I missed that one. Apparently, the scrum timer ran out. And they still didn't penalise the Warriors for it. So
I missed that too. I don't remember seeing that.
The Brooks forward pass, the Brooks high tackle, the Bloor high tackle. I'm trying to think. I'm sure we're missing one here, but we'll come back to it if we think about it. Another Sheensy. Here's Sheensy talking about home grounds here.
Look, I think next year, now the women's football is finishing, we'll want to go back to Leichhardt and Campbelltown a lot more, and that's the plan. It was for this year, but we've been to Tamworth again. We were at so we've taken the team around. We've been at Tamworth quite often. We were at Bathurst. We went up to Bathurst, Penrith, of course. So we're giving our best to the country and country areas. That's what I mean. And also the trip over here. Whether we'll be back next year, that's not up to me. So you need to ask the club officials about that one. But we came over and had a trial here as well, planning for this. So it's turned out to be a great atmosphere, a good night. Unfortunately, we would like to take the chocolates, but we didn't.
Just before we get to that, shouts to I just got your message. Who was it? Who sent me that? Dylan. Dylan sent on Instagram. So it's a screenshot of Appy pointing to the shot clock, the scrum pact. So yeah, I completely missed that. So
yeah, I did too.
Add it to
to the list.
Yeah, that's the thing. I went to the headline for the YouTube title tonight is the NRL rigged, and I don't know. I've never obviously definitely go out and say that I think it is, but I don't know, man. The Warriors, they want the Warriors. We all want the Warriors to do well this year, and it'd be a great story for the Warriors to really do something and possibly even make a grand final for the first time since they beat us, wasn't it? 2011.
Take the Panthers down.
I can see why the narrative would be for the Waratahs. Fuck me, I did that last week. The Warriors to get the 2 points and move into the top four more comfortably, and it's just the West Tigers down the bottom. Like it's one thing to have 150. We haven't even mentioned the Botany-Zelezniak grounding. So I cut that video, slowed it down, and put it out on Insta, and everyone was sharing it and commenting. Shouts to Anthony Blue Wiggle. He said it had more bounce than Barocca. I thought that was quite cool when he shared it. So the put down there, like, it's just that on that put down as well. The thing that shitted me wasn't so much that it was confirmed; it was confirmed so quickly. Like, it was obvious. Again, the commentary team said, "Has he dropped that?" And the bunker literally confirms it like
had already
20
confirmed it.
It was
They
confirmed.
had already confirmed
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
It was confirmed within like 20 seconds after he. Like how can he be certain like that's a try there? And after like we copped Tommy Talau like 6,000 angles on his no try against the Sharks a few weeks ago. Like it's just I don't know. You can't convince me that like everyone says, well, everyone gets the like is annoyed at the officials in the moment. There's no way they have the list as long as West Tigers do. Like from the Cowboys game last year, like we literally have all time clangers, like a list as long as Santa's bloody make a wish list. Like it's just insane the amount of this game. It has to be something behind it, but the referees have been told to go easy on New Zealand or something. Like there's something behind it. So, I don't know. I'm pissed off. I can't even remember what Sheensy said now. The home grounds. He said.
Just on that one, Josh, look at the penalty count, 11-5.
Yeah, we'll get to the stats as well. So this might be the last big bitch about it tonight. So
the other thing about it I will just mention is the players are noticing it. The players are seeing it. Take Adam Dewey's Twitter post. Like he's seeing it. He's as frustrated as us fans are while he's sitting on the sidelines and having to watch.
That was his first tweet since like March. He literally went on to his Twitter that he obviously never uses, just to go out and say that. Like it was literally his first tweet because he's obviously frustrated by it as well. Like it's just, yeah. I really wish Sheensy would have just absolutely gone out. Apparently behind the scenes every week he's going to the NRL and they're annoyed that he just keeps complaining. But stop fucking up the games against us. Like literally made wrong calls against us week after week. Like it's an absolute joke.
He needs to call it out like the Warriors CEO did earlier this year or last year, whenever that was. He needs to call it out like Ricky Stewart does every time his team loses. And then, Ricky Stewart's at the other end smiling when his team is the one on the other end of the rip-offs. But obviously he's going to cop a $10,000 fine for it. But I mean, I'm sure there's 10,000 Tigers fans who would pitch in $1 to a GoFundMe to pay for it.
I mean, if we're in finals contention, maybe he does. Yeah. Maybe we're not in finals contention, so it would be a waste of $10,000. Justin Pascoe probably want to spend it elsewhere. So in that clip of Sheensy, completely just ignored it, didn't we? So he talks about the home grounds. Next year, he's hoping that we go back to Leichhardt and Campbelltown, which they did promise to do with the Soccer World Cup finishing. So here he's talking about New Zealand as well.
Yeah, well, the money won't hurt either, will it? No, it was well presented. Like the game was put together really well. It's a great facility, right up to standard, and we've got no complaints about that. In fact, the local people, even though a lot of them are Warrior supporters, I know, but they give us a real good rap and a real good pat on the back. We had a great few days, and so we're closing down the season, obviously, but we're not going to put the cue on the rack and just say, well, that's it for us. They're playing. Even some of the guys who are leaving the club are still playing with plenty of intensity. So, as a coach, I said to them at the start of the year, the effort is the most important thing. Obviously, we want more results, but the effort, you won't get a result unless you get the effort in the first place. Execution is the next thing we've got to work on. And as I said, if we lose a game or we lose games, as long as we don't get beat. We've had a couple of tough ones during the year. Not too many clubs can't say they've had that either. But overall, I think our performances have been, really good, strong performances. Just need to finish them off, the little things here and there. But the intensity's there amongst the guys,
Got to agree with Sheensy that as the effort, that's what makes the refereeing decisions harder to take as well, because these boys, even like Dane Laurie and Luke Brooks, who are leaving the club next year, they were playing their guts out, unlike last year when we had that 70-point loss to the Roosters late in the season. They just did put the cue on the rack, as Sheensy said. The boys are out there, flew over to New Zealand, like really threw themselves at this game, and I wouldn't say deserved to win, but deserved to be in the fight or close in the fight. I mean, they only lost by 8, and it was close the whole game. But yeah, I mean, full credit to the boys. They gave it a red hot crack. So
yeah, well, the margin never got out past 13 points. I don't think. Did it get out to 14? Did it?
It was
we go, or did it only get out to 12?
It was 12-0. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The effort is definitely there, but that's the thing. We're getting effort. We're just not getting wins. It'd be nice to be getting the wins. Hopefully, we get a few signings next year that'll help those wins come. It's just been issues in the red zone, and that's what's killed us this year. A lack of class, a lack of being able to capitalize on those moments and make the winning plays when they're needed. Like that unfortunate last conversion attempt by Appy that hit the upright and then the crossbar and then bounced away. I've seen a kick from Jonathan Thurston. I think it was in an Origin game where he hit I think he hit the left upright, the crossbar, the right upright, and then it bounced through. And that's just the luck of the bounce sometimes. And then we had the unfortunate drop ball with 20, 30 seconds to go. That was of no consequence because of the fact that we were still 8 points down. So it's just those moments. We just don't get those moments right. Some last tackle plays in sets in the back ends of games where we're just not getting them right. I think it was Gussie who might have posted in the Discord yesterday basically saying, well, we've lost 8 games or something by 4 points or less, and then another 5 games by 8 points or less, or something along those lines, which is a shame when you've got a team like the Bulldogs whose for and against is I think roughly 100 points worse off than ours, but they've had 3 or 4 extra wins. Just because they've been able to ice a few more of those moments a little bit better than we've been able to.
God, I reckon we beat them if we played them next weekend.
Oh, absolutely, we would. They're a rabble.
One team that's not a rabble is the Mighty Matildas, and you can watch them play England at West Ashfield. Obviously, the game sold out. So if you've got a big screen to watch them, West Ashfield on Wednesday night. They've got cocktail specials. They're doing a $10 passion fruit margarita. That sounds pretty awesome. And then half price pizzas between 8 and 9. So 8 and 9? Did I say 8 and 9? Look at the graphic too small there.
That's what that says.
We did that last week watching the footy. How good are the pizzas at West Ashfield?
That was a bloody good pizza. I like it.
So say hello to our major sponsors, Holman Barnes Group. They're also doing the West Tigers game next week. So next slide, Josh. So on Saturday, they're going to be at CommBank Stadium, and you can go get a complimentary 1-year membership to Holman Barnes Group. So all their clubs, you can sign up on the spot. So check out their stand at CommBank, and go watch the Tillies on Wednesday night. Beat those bloody Poms. To beat the Poms to go into a final.
Their first final.
Their first final. Was their first semi-final?
To beat the Poms in their first semi-final to get to their first final.
Oh, it's just
poetic.
It'd be magical. I've never been more nervous for a soccer game. For more information, holmanbarnesgroup.com.au. Holman Barnes Group, bringing people together. On to the news. So a little one here. Apparently a West Tigers junior. He's trying to be poached from rugby. That is young Alex Conti. So he's only 17, playing Harold Matts for the Tigers, I believe. Can't remember if it's Tigers or Maggies, one or the other. But there's chances he might get poached. So who knows? That might be him looking for the Tigers to extend his contract or his manager. Who knows? Even the kids are doing it these days. Speaking of contracts, little birdie tells us that Jaden Sullivan, he is officially, you can see if you're watching the show on the video there, he's doing a little scribble on a piece of paper there. It appears to have an NRL logo on it. We assume that's a West Tigers contract, so expect that to be announced in the coming days. We've commented on this as it's been rumoured for a few weeks, but you excited now that it's almost officially official?
Well, I mean, we need halves. We obviously have no current halves basically to start round one next year, other than Latu Fainu, who's a bit too young for NRL at this point. So, yeah, we need a halve. We need some halves. The other one who will hopefully be announced soon as well, Aiden Caesar.
Yeah,
they'll pair well together. They'll hopefully offer plenty in attack, and if they do, and we can shore up the defense back to how well we were defending in some of our earlier games this season, then we might actually be able to be competitive again next year, which is what we need more than anything right now.
Yep. It's just a little funny one from today. I don't know if you got the email from the membership. So they are asking for people to vote for the 2023 members moment of the year. I was disappointed because I was going to go in. I assumed that you could go in and just type one out. I was going to go in and say Sean Blaw's first NRL try. That was my moment of the year against the Sharkies. But no, it's a multiple choice. So if you had 4 choices to nominate for the best moments of 2023 for the West Tigers, what would your top 4 be? Putting you on the spot here.
I'd say Blawry's first try, Twel's first try, the inaugural NRLW team, and Brooksy's 200th game and like that result, or you could pick any one of the 12 tries out of that game or 11 tries out of that game because they were all bloody spectacular.
Yep. So they've gone the 4 options. Tolly's try. So I mean, between that and the girls NRLW's first game, Indigenous jersey launch is the third one, and then the fourth one is when collecting the members' cards that they handed out at the game. So were they struggling for ideas for the fourth one? I thought maybe beating the reigning premiers, or like surely it's been a dire year, but surely we can think of something better than a few collector cards. So come on, guys. And like where's Sean Blaw's try?
When I voted, only 2 of those 4 moments had any votes towards them. Twally's was number 1, and my vote went to the West Tigers and to the NRLW, and that was number 2. If I could have picked a moment myself, which is what I was expecting to be able to do when I opened up this little survey, I was going to go the last try against the Cowboys, just because I thought it was a beautiful piece of play. All four of our spine players linking up, sending Bateman through a gap for his first try as a Tiger as well, I think it was. It was an absolutely spectacular piece of play that capped off an absolutely special night for Brooksy's 200th game and a beautiful night at Leichhardt. So that would have gotten my vote if I was able to make my own vote. But as soon as I saw that wasn't an option and the girls entering the NRLW was, I put my vote to that because the girls, especially in their first 2 games and still even in their last 2 games that they've lost, they've been spectacular.
Not really news, but a little bit of a tidbit from Buzz on the weekend. So you might have noticed that Brooksy had tape over his under his neck on his jersey. So I was wondering what the go was with this as well. So good on you, Buzz, for doing your job, doing a little bit of research. So apparently it's because in New Zealand, you can't advertise overseas betting companies. You can only advertise their tab equivalent. So because they had play up on his jersey.
And the shorts too.
And so they've had to, it looks like maybe Brooksy, because some of them had Raw. So they changed it to something else, and apparently Manly next week, because they have points bet on their jersey. I think they've got to fuck around with all their stuff as well. But yeah, a bit of a weird one, which is odd because you can't bet overseas on, like, if you're advertising play up, if a New Zealander went on to play up, it wouldn't let them do it without a VPN, just quietly. But yeah, it's a weird one. Okay, those wacky Kiwis.
I actually had no idea about it, and the thing that surprised me the most was I haven't even noticed it with any other game this year. The first one that came to mind was I was trying to think if the Titans had gone and played the Warriors in New Zealand this year, because Ned sponsors
they've all got
them
one
still.
And
I
think it might have been a recently changed law. It might be recent.
That would explain it. But yeah, it is a bit of a unique one. Brooksy's logo just didn't want to stay on his jersey.
Yeah, the old race tape. A little bit more Sean Bloor, a little bit of a tidbit with him. Someone saying he was linked with another club. It's a bit more of a look. I think I've heard that Sean really wants to stay at the West Tigers, and fingers crossed that come on. I say it every week. I'm gonna, and I'll continue to say it until they do. Just give the kid a contract, please. Extend it. He loves the club. He's playing out of his skin. Like, I don't understand it, and it's beautiful to see as well on social media. I'm not alone preaching this anymore. I don't just look like a homer anymore, because literally any post the West Tigers do that has Sean Bloor in it, there's people just going, re-sign him. So, there seems every West Tigers fan wants it to happen. So please, if you're listening, JP, get it done.
The thing for me is, I think it's a management ploy, whether or not it's true or not. Like, we can't know for sure. But the thing is, the problem with us being a club that's now going to get 2 wooden spoons in a row is every player manager is going to want their players to leave, and we need those players to want to be here. So for a player like Blory to basically say that he wants to be here, he wants to keep playing for this club, is huge. We can't afford to lose those players, because otherwise, new players that come to us, we're going to have to continue paying overs to sign them, and that's going to just keep us in this hole. To have a player like Appy, who's just come from a club that's won 2 premierships in 3 years and made 3 grand finals in 3 years, to come to us, who had just won a wooden spoon, to win another wooden spoon with us in his first year, and before that was even finalized or cemented in stone, he's re-signed with us for an extra 2 seasons, which included the season, like next season, as well as a new one that he didn't even have to sign for, because his original contract was just this year and next year. So for a player like Bloor to want to stay, that's massive for the club. That's massive for us as a fan base, to know that we have this young stallion of a bloke whose smile absolutely melts you, Josh.
He does.
Wanting to stay.
It's a great smile.
It's great.
Yeah, it's
and we've got to keep those players.
Beyond Sean as well, like players like Appy's extended. Apparently publicly he, like, these core players, Buller's obviously speaking highly of the clubs. There's a lot of, despite what the club's going through at the moment, a lot of the playing group really want to are really determined to turn it around. You can see the way they're playing beyond not just Sean. A lot of the players, they really do want to steer this ship in the right direction. But just please, West Tigers, don't let another talented player go to the Roosters or the Storm or someone else who just keeps poaching all of our talent. Please. Speaking of which, so we have locked up. So do you know how to pronounce that name for me, Az?
I'd have a guess at Siotame Havea.
So he's a really young kid. He's under the 15s. He's the nephew of the Payer. Do you remember the Payer brothers? Mickey
No.
Payer. What's the other? It will come to me. The Payer brothers used to be in the NRL. It's their nephew, the West Tigers. So keep an eye out, ear out for that name. If Az has pronounced it correctly, he's the king of pronunciation. So I'll back you there.
I hazarded a guess at that one.
Righto, back to the game itself. 32-22 over in 22. We've had a few 22s, haven't we? Recently, I feel like I've done Richie's voice a few times in recent weeks. 25,000 people in Hamilton. Yep. So count the pennies, bring them back home, spend it wisely, fellas. But yeah, heartbreaking. As 5 tries to 4. It's only down 4 at halftime. Yeah, the try in halftime, that be it a basketball bounce or not by DWZ, like if we had gone into the sheds at halftime, tied up. Yeah, that was a bit of a turning point. A lot of turning points, a lot of sliding doors moments in this game.
Yeah, there really were a lot of those plays, penalties that we gave away. Some of those calls that were made by the referee he was just looking for something to call against us. Yeah, the team, there was a lot of fight and a lot of heart there. I commented in my watch, because today was obviously my first watch since I wasn't watching live. It's actually the first game, I think, in over 3 years that I haven't been able to watch live, which is something. But in my watch today, I commented on how the resilience and the fight back from 12-0 down when they scored those 2 rapid fire tries, how good the team looked at that point. We unfortunately just lost our way and lost our momentum again, and back in the grind, and they got back on top of us and stayed on top of us through the majority of the rest of the game. And there was a couple periods there where it looked like we might actually be able to put the fight back in and potentially come back to win the game. We're not playing like a wooden spoon team. We're going to win the wooden spoon, but we're not playing like a wooden spoon team. And to me, that's probably the most disappointing part of this season.
Yeah,
we don't deserve the spoon. The Dogs, look at how many times the Dogs have had big scores put on them. They probably deserve the spoon, but they've had a bit more class in a few games where they've managed to get the points, and that's what's got them, I think, 3 wins ahead of us on the ladder. And it's just really unfortunate that us, a team that's had more turmoil this year than us in the Dragons, who haven't won a spoon yet, potentially could be down here instead of us. And because they've been a bit of a basket case this year too. But it's just the way the cards have fallen is it's ours again.
A few statistics from the game: 56% possession in this one to the I'm about to say Waratahs again. I don't know why I keep doing that. Warriors. Completion rate 26 of 36 for our boys. 36 of, so an extra 10 sets for the Warriors here to only lose. But for such a close game, an extra 10 sets. That's huge. So. Running meters, the Warriors have got 450 odd extra meters on us. Post contact meters, an extra 150. So their forwards did really get them a roll on. Tackle breaks, Warriors 39-33. What else have we got here? Offloads, we had 8. They had 4. The Tigers certainly started throwing the ball around late in the game. What else we got? Forced dropouts, none from us this week. And errors, that can't be right. 15-1. I've cut off the numbers there. I think it was 15-10.
I think it's 15-10, yeah.
Yeah, 15-10. Penalty count 11-5.
You've got the same column twice there, so yeah, it is 15-10.
Oh, I did too. Yeah, I was obviously drunk putting this together. Ruck infringement, It's 3-1 in our favour. So really, penalties and ruck infringements together, it's 14-6. So all that extra possession, all those extra penalties
Don't forget the
against
inside
us.
the 10 meters. They're 6 agains as well.
Yeah. So now, well, they won that by 1. So I guess that brings it back. We won that by 1. Sorry. So, man, the boys. Yeah, this is frustrating. So,
looking at those stats, you'd think we lost the game by 20, not 8. To be outmatched in the run meters in particular, and those departments there, we were very low on our post contact meters compared to normal. It looked like we got absolutely dominated, but we only lost by 8. We played with heart. We played with ticker.
100%. Appy Coruscant certainly did 52 tackles. He did miss 7, but that's across 80 minutes. Papa 48 and only 1 missed, and Johnny Bateman 33 and 3 missed. Johnny Bateman as well, 6 tackle breaks, led the team. Run meters, Dano 135 is only the highest. It's not very high for the best. Noffa, the best post contact meters with 39, and then a line break each for Dano, Blory, Jareem, Bateman, and Stafford Toa. The table, do we even bother looking at it? Still last. Anything to add, as before I talk about our friends at Mobile Corp?
No, that pretty much covers it. I'll get more into the players when we get to the player ratings.
Yeah, we will do the player ratings in just a second, but just talking about our friends at Mobile Corp. So they support local businesses by managing their IT, their networks, and their mobile devices. If you're a local business owner looking for a partner who will take away the hassle of dealing with IT issues, make sure you have cybersecurity in place, handle all your mobile device needs, then Mobile Corp can help. Mobile Corp is a family-run business and a long-time supporter of the West Tigers, formerly known as MLC Phones, which sponsored the Sydney/Balmain Tigers in the mid-90s. So reach out to our friend Stephen and the team at Mobile Corp, mobilecorp.com.au. That's mobilecorp.com.au. And moving on to lower grades, the New South Wales Cup. Before first grade, they got done at 26-16. We didn't see any of this game. But yeah, I'm pretty sure the Warriors it was pretty similar to first grade. They kept their lead. I think they led start to finish in that one. But I did not see that game. They're coming 11th now. I think that mathematically puts them out of finals contention. Is that right,
it's a top 5 or a top 6, and 6th is 8 points ahead of us with 2 games to play. So yeah, they're gone.
Yeah, simple maths. They're gone there. Jersey Flegg lost to the Storm, 24-18. That was at Lincoln Oval on Saturday afternoon. So the Flegg boys lost their second last in 11th as well. Not a good club. Not a good year for the club at all. And our girls, they heartbreakingly lost in the final. I think it was 90 seconds to go. Cowboys went over to score to take the lead off us, as the girls are now 2-2.
Yeah, when I had to leave the house, we were still up, and I saw the score when I finally got on the train. And I was heartbroken for them because they were playing so well. I'm sure they continued playing well. I couldn't bring myself to watch the last bit of the game that I missed because I didn't want to see them lose in such heartbreaking fashion, especially seeing that Jasmine Peters scored a try in the 68th minute. So yeah, with less than 2 minutes to go, it would have been absolutely heartbreaking for them. They're playing with a lot of heart and a lot of ticker as well. They've faced adversity with China Palata scoring so early into the game after we had some good ball on their try line and couldn't capitalize. So the fact that they stayed in the fight, they continued to stay in the fight for the whole game, was really, really good to see. Like I said earlier this year, if there are going to be growing pains this year, we can't expect them to win every game. But what we can expect from them and what we are seeing from them is them playing with heart, them playing with pride, and not giving up, as our men's team have done many times in the past. Not so much this year, thankfully, but we're seeing a lot of good things from these girls. There's a lot of green shoots in some of the youngsters and debutantes. Like, we had 3 debutantes on the weekend, and I think all of them played superbly. Was very proud of each and every one of them. Our big name players in Kezi Apps and Sarah Togatuki.
Heck, it was Kezi. Yeah, Kezi's try was so good.
She's scored 3 weeks in a row now, which is even crazier considering she's a forward. But yeah, those 2 marquee signings are stepped up in Bo Vetti Welsh's absence. Hopefully she'll be back.
We did miss her. I feel like we did miss Vetti and no Lutu either.
Yeah, the late scratching of Lutu definitely hurt the halves there, because I think Pauline ended up coming back into the halves with one of our debutantes. I think it might have been Jessica Kennedy stepping into the fullback position. So there was a lot of uncertainty around, particularly the spine. It was the spine again that was mostly affected there. So I'm really proud of the team. Obviously, there are going to be there may be a few more losses to come this season, but I don't think we'll see a loss this week, because I'm looking forward to Kezi playing against her old team, especially in the form she's in.
So the ladder there. So we are playing the Dragons. So the Dragons are what? They're 1 and 3. So hopefully, we're 2 points out of the 4. Is it top 4?
It is a top 4. First and fourth play each other, so a win.
That's right.
Gets
It's
us
1
back
week
in front of
semis.
whichever of those. Yep.
So we really need to beat the Dragons, try and get back into the top 4 for next week. So come on, girls! Really looking forward to watching the doubleheader, girls and boys, next or this Saturday. Player ratings time. So thank you to all of you who submitted your player ratings this week. So Jareem Buller 7.8, David Nofaluma 4.5, Stafford Toa 6.4, Asu Kepa Owa 5.3, Junior Tupu 6.5, Dane Laurie 8.2, Luke Brooks 6.9, Stefano 7.2, Api Coruscant 8.3, David Clemmer 6.3, Isaiah Papali'i 7.0, Johnny Bateman 6.1, Vanilla Pole 6.2, Jakey Simpkin, who didn't play a single minute. I don't know why I left him in the form, but anyway, he got a 4.7 for doing nothing. I don't know if that's harsh or fair. Really, you should give him a 5 out of 10 if he doesn't play, I guess.
Maybe a 10 out of 10. He didn't make a mistake.
Yeah, no errors. So 6.0 for Alex Seyfarth, 5.7 for Alex Twal, and Sean Bloor 7.5, even though he only played 32 minutes in that game. He made a real impact as well. As any of these numbers stand out as too high or too low for you, let us know in the comments if you're watching live as well.
No, I honestly think most of those are a fairly accurate assessment. I would say it was probably David Clemmer's quietest game he's had since joining the club. He made a few mistakes as well, so he had probably one of his, I wouldn't say worst games, but one of his most mediocre games since signing for us. Isaiah Papali'i, maybe he could have been rated a bit higher. John Bateman, I thought, played quite well.
Yeah, I thought Johnny Bateman's better than a 6.1. Yeah.
Yeah, Fanua Pole as well, probably closer to maybe a 7.4, 7.5.
Yeah.
Noffa, I don't remember seeing too much of Noffa, to be honest, and I actually only just watched the game earlier this afternoon.
Well, he led the team in tackle breaks, as I said earlier in the show. So
yeah,
he ran the ball pretty well. So
I think people are kind of like
sour
perceptions and sour on him, and that's probably what he's rated so low for. I'm surprised that Sean only got a 7.5. I thought he was absolutely sensational.
Well, I don't vote, so there's a 10 missed there. So
his break for the Toa double, the second of Toa's tries, was absolutely sublime. I love watching him bust the line, because we know what he's capable of, and he did it spectacularly there, which was
so
basically
good.
it was the try that got us back into the match, and it would have taken us to being behind by 6 if it wasn't for that really unfortunate conversion attempt I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Dane Laurie isn't highest rated. I probably would have rated him the highest out of everyone on the team. Appy beat him by 0.1. So, but I thought Dane was absolutely sensational as well. It was probably his best game in quite some time, considering he hasn't played all that many, and it's a shame.
Yep.
Like I said in our group chat, it's a shame that we're losing him, if anything, for his speed.
Yeah, you mentioned Sean Blaw's break there, and just a couple of plays in that game. You're not on Instagram, but he put on a post on his stories after the game, apologising to West Tigers fans for dropping the ball at the end of the game there. But the game, like, we were down 8. Like, the game was pretty much over. Anyway,
he was trying to with 20 seconds to go.
He was trying to make a play. Like, he's so harsh on himself because we've rated him everyone's rated him 7.5 there in a loss, and yeah, like some of his offloads, obviously that line break hitting the hole, like he changes the game when he comes on. To only play 32 minutes and the impact that he has, like, I'm not just being biased here. I think people surely agree with me that we want more than 32 minutes. Like, come on, Sheens, what are you doing?
Yeah, like he's been one of our most consistent performers. He's playing with heart. If you do get a chance to have a chat to him, Josh, I want you to ask him a question for me because you have the connections. When he comes on, I want to know if he's playing in the middle or if he's playing at lock or like if he's playing as a prop or at lock, or because I'm not 100% sure where he's playing. I just know that wherever he is, he's doing a bang up job.
He can play him. Put him at halfback. Fuck it. Put him at 7.
Give it a go.
Speaking of halves, Brooksy and Dane Laurie, it's bittersweet watching how many times this year did we say Dane Laurie is in second grade playing 5A. Why can't we give him a crack at 6? Like, and then he signs with Penrith, and we do. And credit to Dane, he could like shut up shop and not put in. He's playing so well at 6, and it's just he's going to go to Penrith, and Luai might leave, and he might get to play in that awesome Penrith side, and he's going to look good. Like, it's just unbelievable that they didn't think as soon as Adam went down, like, man, we tried Will Smith before, like, due respect to Will Smith, but man, Dane Laurie's been at the club for a few years, and he's shown us glimpses of great playmaking playing at fullback. It's just crazy as they didn't think of trying this earlier.
Yeah, we were saying it for what? I'd say it was probably at least 2 months. We went into our post Easter Monday bye thinking that when we came out the other end of it, that Dane would be playing 6 because he had been training 6 at preseason, and he went into that bye week training at 6 as well, and we honestly thought that's what we were going to see, and it just never eventuated. And we had Wakeham, who at times did a really good job, but at times kind of was a bit of a letdown too. But I'm not going to blame Wakeham too much when we got him on such a cheap deal so close to the start of the season. But
there's nothing against him, yeah.
Yeah, but like you said, we had this tried and true playmaker who had a few too many drops for our liking at fullback, but showed a lot of potential as a ball player and as a playmaker. And it just seemed very, very silly to not play him there as like sooner than we actually did.
Yeah, just give it a go. Like, I just don't understand. There has to be something more to it. Why he didn't get a crack and we just hit him in second grade. So I don't know. It is what it is. It's just kind of happens at the West Tigers, I guess. Some of your best comments from the player rating survey. So again, thank you to everyone who did submit one. Keep an eye out on Twitter and Facebook when we post the link. I pretty much do it straight after the game, so that'll be Saturday afternoon. Chris says, great effort, but no icing on the cake. Is he talking about publicly there? No icing on the cake. Made it hard for ourselves, but it also just seems every time we have a bad call against us, it is such a critical time. Perfect example is the no head high call in the captain's challenge. Would have changed the result of the game more than likely, 100%. Chris, Michael Roberts said, just done at this stage. Don't think I can watch any more games this year of how bad the officiating is. They genuinely don't even try and hide it anymore. It's just become okay to fuck over the Tigers. 100% agree, Michael. James S. said, Dane Laurie would have been an 8 at least, obviously talking about his rating, at least if his defense was better, improved as the game went on. Brooks is about 50-50. Rocks and donuts with his kicking. Appy tried hard as always, but not a great game defensively. It looked out of sync with his runners again. Hard to tell who is at fault. Maybe Sheens. Isaiah probably deserved a try, even if he knocked it on. Was offside, and Cloves lined the ref. Love him. Kathy said, solid game. Areas of focus and attention to detail puts pressure on us, and again feels some of the ref decisions killed our momentum. So always feel like we have to work harder than other teams physically and mentally. Lance Koshny. Tigers hard done by yet again by the officiating. Why can't Sheens have a crack at the refereeing and cop the fines so that we start having calls go our way? That being said, we've played really well for a couple of weeks now, so I've tipped the boys to beat the Dolphins next week, and so are the betting markets, as the West Tigers are favourites to win on Saturday.
Yeah, I think that's a big part to do with what's his name, who's just
Hammer?
been Hammer might be ruled out for them, but there was one confirmed today suspension, a forward that Ray Stone, he's going to be out for a couple of weeks suspended, and he's probably one of their better players this season. So it's crazy to think that a team that's on a 10-game losing streak is favoured to beat another team. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Sonia Mikalev said, we never give up. This time last year, we had thrown in the towel 100%.
Yep.
Mikalev, do you know do you remember Sean McAuliffe? He's still around. Sean McAuliffe, as talking about TV shows in the 90s again. Do you remember Full Frontal? He did a character called Milo Kerrigan, the former boxer.
Nah, the only thing I know Sean McAuliffe from was talking about your generation. So that's my extent of my knowledge on him.
Go YouTube after we're done recording tonight. Go look up Milo Kerrigan on YouTube. It's still one of my favorite things ever on Australian TV. He basically pretends to be a former boxer. Could you make the joke about? I don't know. There's a lot of stuff from back then you probably can't joke about. I guess. Can you joke about a boxer with HIA in this day and age? Maybe, but he's the best. I love Sean McAuliffe. Patreon.com/WestsLife. You want to support and take part of the show. What have the crew got for us tonight? Steve-O just said before, Chris Butler looked pregnant on Saturday. Who's Chris Butler?
The referee.
Oh, looked pregnant.
It's an interesting
maybe.
take.
Yeah, I mean, was it someone from New Zealand? Was he carrying a Warriors player's baby? Because he certainly was biased against us.
Love child.
A username by the RB, so a bit of a rant from Mr. Bashara. How and why did it take the club so long to realise Laurie's potential in the halves? Reasonable to assume we would have made a better offer than the paltry one-year deal Penrith gave him. Why not give him a chance earlier? I didn't read this earlier, but he's pretty much repeating what I just said as well. I haven't actually read this yet. So if he failed, so be it. At least you'd know our season was over a long time ago. Same goes for Tristan Riley, persisting the likes of Talau, who's leaving, and Kepaoa, who showed he isn't a centre, is poor decision-making by our coaching staff. Even Buller was fourth choice fullback, given Laurie, Dwayne, and Staines got starts there before him. I think the Buller thing was due to he couldn't play until a certain round. But be as it may, this is further proof of failure to identify talent when it's sitting right in our lap. And reports earlier in the year that Sean Bloor was asked to look elsewhere, yet now he's showing what we all knew 2 years ago. Only fools would lose a young forward of his talent who wants to be part of the club. Would anyone think that Bloor, Laurie, Joffa, and Hastings wouldn't be in our best 17? only the decision makers at Concord would say no. It's mind-boggling with 2 exclamation marks. He was fired up with the keyboard there. Mr. Bashara, we all miss him, but got to agree with everything he said there, as.
Absolutely. He hit the nail on the head, as he always does, and I agree. We miss him, but his mental health and taking a break is priority number 1. Hopefully we do see him back maybe later this season, if not next season.
Good comment from Jason D here. He said Butler wasn't pregnant. It was just all the cash up his jumper that the Warriors have paid him. Nice work, Chase.
The bulletproof vest he need on the way out.
Top tier commenter, Jason D. Shane Coward, our Benji Marshall tier Patreon. So he just said, Tim Sheens, we might be losing, but we're not getting beat. What the F? What a prick. This shows this fossil is way past it. He was pretty much admitted he was happy with mediocrity. Good effort from the guys, but I can't stand Sheens. I wish he'd piss off forever. Shane, you paid your money, and I'll read it out, but love your passion. Righto, our next show, I've got 8:30 Wednesday on this, and then as reminded me that the Tillies, of course, are playing at 8 o'clock on Wednesday, so we will go live at 7:30 again on Wednesday. We don't want to get in the way of the Tillies, so we'll try and we'll preview that game and not step on the toes of our beloved Tillies and get out of the way so everyone can hopefully watch them beat England, and then we'll preview the boys playing the Dolphins and the girls playing the Dragons in a double header, which I'm really looking forward to, as finally we can go. What was the last game that we went to? When were the West Tigers last in Sydney? I can't remember.
The Sharks in round 19, 6 weeks ago.
Of course. Where was I? I was in Fiji. Yeah, that's how long it's been. I was going to say, why
the last one for you would have been round 16 against the Storm then.
Man, Sean Blaw's got to score a try. I missed Sean Blaw's try in the last.
You did too. That's right, because that was in the Sharks game.
So he has to score one for me on Saturday afternoon. So fingers crossed. We'll preview that game. Yeah, Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Thank you to everyone who's joined us again tonight. We're up to round 25 this week, and you guys have stuck solid with us all season, and we truly appreciate every single one of yous. As anything else before we say good night to Big Dog?
What I will do is I'll do a quick 3-2-1 for the girls, because I didn't do that before. I meant to.
I also put that in the poll now. I'll go quickly calculate that too. So do that for me.
Righto. So my 3 I'd give to Sarah Togatuki. She was an absolute workhorse up front. Made a vast majority of our meters upfield. I think she passed 200 again, which is absolutely sensational, especially in a losing side. Kezi Apps, our captain and co-captain, I'll give the 2 points to. She was absolutely spectacular as well. And 1 I'll give to Emily Curtin, who was a dynamo in both attack and defense. Line breaks, half breaks, she was everywhere. And I enjoy watching her play, and she's showing why I really hoped the club would sign her and her sister, and I'm glad they did.
So just looking at it now, it's pretty clear 3-2-1 from the voters without me even calculating it. So Sarah Togatuki, clear number 3, Kezi Apps, clear number 2, and Emily Curtin, clear number 1. Also, some votes for Pauline. How do I say her surnames as?
Pilaye Rasabale.
So she got a couple of votes as well. Rakaya Horn got a vote, and as did Josie Linaz. So thank you to all who voted in that as well.
I agree with the people, and I didn't even know what the people said.
As you were reading it. Quick question from Mr. Shane Cowart. Does the podcast go through the grand final or just the end of the season? We'll go right up to grand final again this year. So we'll do the end of season survey. try and
the good thing is
do a
in the
few fun
first 2 weeks
things
of final, in the first
post-season.
2 weeks of finals, we still have the girls.
We've got the girls,
playing.
of course. Yeah, we still got the girls. So they might go to the grand final. Who knows? So
they could, or at the very least, the semi-final, which would be prelim week. So there's still plenty of previewing and reviewing to do in that regard,
there'll be
especially
news.
as we get towards the end of the season.
Yeah, there'll be plenty. Look, they won't go for an hour and a half, the episodes, but there'll be plenty to talk about. We might even get Mr. Bashara back on for a few fun. If the season's done, maybe his heart rate will have come back down, and we can, do the end of season survey is always fun to see what the people were thinking. Although it's going to be hard to vote for best moment of the year in our survey, it was hard to do in the West Tigers one today. So ours will have a few more options in that. So we'll think of some fun things to do in the last 4 weeks of the
we did that rewatch. We did that watch along of a game last.
We did try that, didn't we? We could try that again. Yeah, that was. We'll try and work out a better way of doing it, because the YouTube ads kind of ruined it, and we all went out of sync and that sort of thing. But maybe that's something we can look at doing as well. If anyone's got any ideas, shoot them through podcast@westlife.com. If you want to come on the show, have a rant or something,
tell us why you are or aren't excited for next season as well, potentially.
Yeah, so there'll be plenty. We'll go right up to the October long weekend, and then have a little break after that. So thank you to thank you to all who've joined us live tonight on YouTube and Facebook, and we'll see you 7:30 on Wednesday. Firstly, go the Tillies.
Go the Tillies.
And go the Tigers.
Go the Tigers.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the WestsLife Podcast. Please follow us at WestsLife Pod on Instagram and Twitter, and facebook.com/WestsLifePod. You can also support and take part in the show at patreon.com/WestsLife, and give us a subscribe on YouTube and turn notifications on. We'll see you again next time on another episode of the WestsLife Podcast.